Hi everyone, I would just like to give you a couple of heads up. There will be a lot of gore, specific details of gore in this. If you're uncomfortable with that, please do not watch this video. You have been warned. Hey guys, today we're going to be reading Toby, ex-listener, and we is in chapter 37. As I ran away from Toby, I could have gone anywhere, into the main street, to the police station, anywhere that he couldn't get me. But instead, I made the stupid mistake of running back to the house. I rushed to my door and opened it, hurrying inside and slamming it shut, locking it and removing the key. I peep out of the room window. I didn't see him. Phew, thank God. However, I did not check the door's small window. What? I did not check the door's small window, so I suddenly hear a sharp tapping, causing me to gasp and push my weight against the door, leaning my back onto it. This time, the tapping happens again, only louder. Ding dong. He chuckles, causing me to whine and grind my teeth as I try to stay hidden and quiet. I know you can hear me. He growls as he taps more and more repeatedly. The sound of his metal hatchet against the wood door sent chills up my spine. Open the door, I only want to play a little. He yells as a louder tapping sound is made with the door. I inhale sharply, trying to remain calm. Ding dong, you can't keep me waiting, he remarks as scratching sounds of his hatchet appear against the wood frame. It's already too late for you to try and run away. I scream as a hard banging comes from behind the door, causing me to move away. Turning to face the window, I gasp sharply and fear grows over as his shadowy figure steps into view of the glass, his menacing expression glaring at me. I see you through the window, he coos with an evil grin as his head tilts, raising his hatchet to tap over and over, his other hand placed flat on the grass. Our eyes lock together as his grin grows. I begin to panic as I watch him insanely twitch over and over. I can sense your horror. You know what? I think that's like a voice line of Nightmare from FNAF. Like, oh no, it's to release your horror, not a sense of horror. Well, he's like, horror. And then he's like, you will not be spared. Man, I was like, he sounds like he has insane amount of asthma. So, yeah, Nightmare. Yeah, that Nightmare has asthma. Probably. I don't know. That's what it reminded me randomly. I just gotta let everyone know. Anyway, he raises his hatchet and smashes it against the window, causing the glass to shatter. Also causing another scream to erupt from me. Though I'd like to see it closer. He yells as he steps into the room, onto the shattered glass, heading quickly in my direction. I turn and make a run for it upstairs. I head to my room and lock the door, hiding in my wardrobe, keeping my breath as still and as quiet as possible. I listen as I hear him make his way upstairs. Are we is this like a horror movie? Where the lady always somehow does the stupidest thing in the whole world whenever common sense, you see it in front of you and you still somehow make the wrong decision. I don't comprendo. No comprendo. I don't understand. Why? Well, technically no comprendo is like, I don't comprehend. But whatever, I don't understand. Why? ¿Por qué? Okay, why? You have a brain, use it. Ding dong, here I come to find you. Come on, Wyatt, let's play a little game and have fun. I shiver to the thought of his fun being the complete opposite to mine and his involving the death of me. I listen as his footsteps get louder and louder across the hall. Where is it you've gone to, Wyatt? I can hear your sharp breaths. He chuckles, causing my heart to race. I thought my breathing was controlled, but he obviously still heard it. I tried to hold my breath, but I was too scared and needed air. Just wait. You can't hide from me, Wyatt. I'm coming. As all growls grow quiet, I begin to calm down, but suddenly gasp and hold my breath as I hear a loud tapping on my bedroom door. Knock, knock. I'm at your door now, and I'm coming in. I don't need to ask permission. Suddenly, his hatchet blade comes crashing against the wood, poking out into my room from which I could just about see. It was like a movie. He just kept smashing my door with his hatchet over and over, causing me to jump and flinch after every blow until it finally falls flat off its hinges. And yet you could have taken the time, got out of the closet, jump out of the window, and make a run for it while he, took his time with the hatchet. And Common Sis is not with us today, for reals. Knock, knock. Where is it you've hid, YN? This game of hide and seek is about to end. He yells evilly with a psychotic laugh, causing me to hold my breath and lean back, tears streaming down my face onto my hands as my palms cover my mouth and nose. I watch as he stalks over to my bed, slowly crouching before ripping off the sheet, looking underneath my bed. You're not here, I wonder. Could you be inside the closet? He hollers, throwing his hatchet, causing it to come smashing into the wardrobe door. I couldn't help screaming my lungs in terror as the blade lays between my eyes, inches from my face. I have found you. You are hiding here? He chuckles over and over, getting louder and louder as he confidently walks over, yanking the hatchet out of the door, causing the doors to swing open and another scream come from me as I crouch to shield myself. Finally found you, dear. He grins widely, his finger reaching and latching onto my throat as he grabs me and drags me out of the wardrobe, holding me in the air just by my neck as my feet leaving the ground. I gasp for air as his tight grip tightens around my throat. Looks like I've won. Now, you're it. Oh my goodness. Our common sense just left us. Ay. Chapter 38. My eyes weep majorly and I gasp for oxygen as Toby holds me in the air by a tight grip, which increased in strength every second I was raised. Toby, please. You're hurting me. I manage to speak between every gasp I make. I try my best to make eye contact with him, but I was raised too high and could barely breathe to even more my own eyes meet his. All I could do was cry. Look at you, you're a mess. Pathetic. Crying over death? Don't worry, dying isn't that bad. This earth is hell. I'm doing you a favor. He growls, raising his hatchet with his other hand. I thought he was going to just strangle me, but I was wrong. I had to do something. I couldn't just let him just slice me open like a pig for slaughter. Using all the energy I can, I kicked him straight in the gut, winding him, causing him to drop both me and his hatchet, gasping for air. I quickly grab his weapon and weakly stand on my feet, wheezing and panting. He, too, stands up, holding his stomach. You fucking cow, he yells, but before he can lash out on me, I hold his hatchet out to him, threateningly, causing him to stop. I wanted him to feel afraid that he was defenseless and I had his only weapon, but instead, he laughs, louder than expected. It was just so psychotic, it just sent chills down my spine. What are you gonna do, huh, YN? Huh? His voice raised. His sudden raise in voice causing me to flinch and jump, almost dropping the hatchet. So I backed away to gain even more confidence in myself, but he steps closer, causing me to move back even more. Huh? What? You're gonna cut me? Or you're gonna slice me? I know. You're gonna hack me to death. His voice jolted and raised every time he spoke, moving closer and closer, causing me to back away. My hand shook as the grip of the hatchet in my sweaty palms, but I suddenly stop once my back hits the wall. As he moves closer, I go to make a run to the side out of the way, but he pushes me back, placing his hands on the wall either side of my shoulder, blocking my exit. I stare at him weakly as my body trembles and my eyes filled with tears as I hold the hatchet blade against his chest. Okay, listen. This reminds me insanely of it's not really a reference because I'm not sure because It's from like Kaluva Boss. You know, like that certain part where the cowboy guy pins it's like Blitz. Yeah, and he puts Blitz against the wall. The cow guy. I forgot his name. Oh, it's freaking hilarious. Like, that just straight up reminds me of it, except, you know, no demons. Yet, you know, not yet. But yeah, that's what it insanely reminds me of. Anyway, Toby, please, I don't want to hurt you. It was so hard to get my words out because of my cries of sorrow and fear got in the way. My speech was so broken and shaky, full of sadness and horror as I stared into his dark, shadowy eyes. But my terror caused him to form a wide, toothy grin on his face. I can smell your fear, YN, and it smells amazing. Sounds like someone. He chuckles, diving his nose into my skin, deep into the crevices of my neck, inhaling the scent of my flesh, causing me to whimper like a frightened puppy. But this only made him laugh. His hot breath threw against my skin. Toby, please, you said you loved me. I know that side of you is in there somewhere. The real Toby. I try to reach for him, but I shriek, interrupting myself as when he slams his hands hard against the walls beside me, cowering a little as he leans back to glare at me. So hi everyone, this is a short announcement. Since I'm editing this very, very late, like at 1 a.m, and I can't edit later on, I sadly won't be adding too many sound effects going this video on forward. Only for this video though. Sorry for the slight inconvenience, but I hope you enjoy your stay. That Toby doesn't exist. It's me and only me. I am Toby Rogers. I'm like, okay, man. It's a Maja Pothead. Chapter 39. This is not the Toby I know. You know nothing. What about all the times we spent together these last months? Where is that Toby? That Toby does not exist. Don't you get it? You're sorry, weak, pathetic, little mongrel? What the hell was it? Little mongrel? It was all an act. I wanted to use you for your mind reading power, and if I couldn't, I was going to kill you. His words hit me hard. Really hard. All this time he was been lying to me, but when I thought about it, his statements didn't quite match. So that time in that abandoned facility, I saw your goggles and your mouth guard. You were gonna kill me, weren't you? But why didn't you? You let me leave and saved me from those other murderers. Why? If I meant nothing to you, why didn't you kill me? And that other time, the other night, that was the best night of my life. You can't tell me that was fake. That's enough. He yells furiously, punching his fist through the wall beside my face, causing a large hole. I couldn't help but shriek. I was waiting for Toby to make some sort of remark, but he doesn't. Instead, he just stands panting with his head hanging low. Toby, I know somewhere inside of you is the part of you that cares for me. You mean nothing to me. Toby, I know that's not true. There was a pause. Toby's head slowly rises as his shadowy eyes lock with mine. His face showed so many mixed emotions. Sad, angry, hatred, sorrow, and just generally broken. But his figure was so dark. It was hard to tell which he was showing most, but suddenly something drops from his face and it lands on my shoe. As it was water, not water. A tear? I slowly and carefully placed the hatchet down the hatchet, raising my hands to cup Toby's face and lift his head to meet with mine more. Toby, no matter what, I still love you. Let me help you. He grinds his teeth and pries his head from my hands. Leave, he orders, but I was so confused. I just stare at him as he stands back, lowering his arms. I said, leave, get out of my sight, run away from here, far away, don't come back, or they will kill you. Toby, I'm not going anywhere. Whoever they is, I won't let them hurt you for letting me go. Come with me. We'll run away together. Don't you get it? I can't leave. They'll find me. They'll hunt me down, find me, and kill me. I'll be in less trouble if I let you leave than if I leave with you. Then we won't leave. I won't leave. What's wrong with you? I'm saving your fucking life, which I could have ended already, but just leave. Oh, Toby. What are we going to do with you? Seems after Painter's punishment, you still ignore orders. We turned towards the door to see 3 people standing there. The man I've seen once before who had the cut smile on his face, the other same man I saw with the crowbar, and someone else that I haven't seen before. He too wore a mask, but it was blue with black dripping from his eyes. Without warning, the lights suddenly turned out, leaving us in complete darkness. Wasn't it daylight? Hold up. I was completely blind. I feel someone grab me. Cloth-like material shoved inside my mouth. I also hear rustling and thumping around me. When the lights suddenly turned back on, I was being held by the 2 guys wearing the mask, pinning my arms and had also gagged my mouth, preventing me from talking. The other guy with a smile currently held a knife to Toby's throat directly in front of me. Now, Toby, we gagged the bitch we gagged the bitch so she can no longer manipulate you with her poisoned words. She's trying to get you in your head to put you off. I watched in fear as the carved man hands Toby his hatchet, forcing him to grip it tightly. All you gotta do is slice her open a few times and we'll be done. We can go home. Slender will be proud of you. Slender will be proud of you completing this mission. Great. He better be proud. Jesus, this is hard to read. Chapter 40. Oui. Oh, excusez-moi. I watched the 2 figures closely. I watched the 2 figures closely as my visions blurs due to the tears forming from my eyes. Holding their position, not yet falling down my cheeks. Come on, Toby. Ignore what you've had with her. Imagine it's your father. Remember what he did to you and your mother? Your poor sister. He didn't even care. I flinch as Toby's head suddenly twitches, his eyes gleaming with hatred. I remember his story from online. His father was a terrible man. The cut-faced murderer knew this would cause Toby to snap. His force on the knife against Toby's neck loosens as Toby growls, tightening his grip on his hatchet as he twitches, his neck eerily clicking with each tick. You could hear his teeth harshly grinding together as he snarls. It sounds like animalistic material. His glare fixed on my shaking person, more tears filling my eye sockets as my panic increased by the second. Come on, Toby, kill it. Imagine it to be your father. Make it as painful as it deserves. Slender will be proud. The cut smile murderer continued to edge Toby on more and more, repeatedly referring to me as it, to prevent any emotion of me being a helpless person from overriding his actions, but also making him believe that I was his father, causing his urge to kill me to be even greater. I jump as Toby snaps himself out of the cut man's face grip, slowly and creepily tilting his head, his neck creating a painful snapping or clicking sound, making me flinch as I whine behind the gag as my tears begin to overflow. Remember, Toby, you've been eager for Slender's attention. This will surely get it. The man chuckles. The other 2 masked men figures currently restraining me also chuckle. What was so funny? But my question was soon answered as one of these pricks decided to talk in their head. Poor Toby. Slender isn't going to be proud. He's already researching for Toby to kill him. But whether he kills his chick or not, he's dead meat, but she'll still die at the hands of me. The figure with the cut smile laughs to himself evilly as he watches Toby. I knew it was in his mind. I had just read it. I need to warn Toby, but how? I was gagged. I began to panic more. My heart rate increased, pounding out of my chest, my pulse booming in my ears as my blood pressure rises. My body began to sweat and my breathing struggled, also causing me to hyperventilate. My entire body began to shake and tremble as Toby slowly made his way towards me, twisting his tight grip around his hatchet, causing deep but squeaky sounds to be made. Soon enough, I couldn't hold back my tears. He had reached my person, standing directly in front of me. Our noses practically touching as his hot breath engulfs my face, my breathing becoming louder and louder behind the gag as my body rocks back and forth jaggedly due to my shaky breath. My gasp for air due to my crying and breathless moments and my whines could be heard in the quiet room as Toby glares into my eyes, not moving a muscle. The sound of my gasps and whines became louder and louder, shakier and shakier. I couldn't stop my tears streaming down my face, also my cries echo, but my muffled behind the gag. However, I couldn't help but let out a muffled shrieks of fear, watching Toby's body shudder as he laughs, deeply and low and with a menacing grin. His pupils constrict to the smallest of sizes. I have never seen this or anyone's eyes like this, not even animals. So yeah, it got pretty small. Don't know how that happens. I don't think that's natural. Well, your pupils can get small, but I don't know if like your like actual eyes, like your little the colored parts of your eyes can get small. I'm not sure. I know like the pupils can, but I don't know about like the whole thing. So realistically, okay, I'm not gonna hit with realistics. This is creepypastas we're talking about here. Excuse me. His hatchet slowly raises in front of me, though his body and face still remained extremely still. Only his arm moved as the blade draws closer to my face, hovering over my right eye. Screams drown out behind the cloth jammed between my teeth, but still managed to seep out and irritate everyone's ears. Just kill her already, Toby! Slender is waiting for you to just give you praise! As soon as those lies left that murderer's cut lips, I instantly shake my head so I decide vigorously to disagree. My eyes weeping as I shift my head towards the cut-faced maniac before shaking my head, trying my best to signal to Toby. I think I said that too loud. Everyone's sleeping. Also, no, I'm gonna keep reading. Where we at? My eyes weeping as I shift my head towards the cut-faced maniac before shaking my head again, trying my best to signal to Toby. I continue to do so until the blade lowers from my eye and the gag is ripped from my mouth by Toby, causing me to gasp as much air as I could before I take any chances to Toby, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He's a liar. It's not true. Enough. Toby, kill it now. Do it or I will kill Toby. Whoever Slender is, he's not going to praise you. I heard his voice. Slender will kill you. Even if I die, you die too. I managed to burst out the truth between pants and gasp, but I did not receive the response I was expecting. I was hoping that Toby would come to his senses and spare me, killing these assholes surrounding us, but instead, he just snarled angrily, forcing the gag back inside my mouth, pushing my face away as he finishes. I scream at him from behind the gag, trying to plead, but his growling, furious stare overpowers. That's it, Toby. Don't let that bitch distract you. Soon this will all be over and you'll forget all about her. Tiki Toby's point of view. By the way, he's going to refer to us as father. Yeah. Forcing the gag back into my father's mouth to shut him up, I grew angrier and angrier. All I could think about was what he did to my mother and me. Now he didn't care for how my sister died. He had to pay. He needed to be punished. That's it, Toby. Don't let that bitch distract you. Soon this will all be over and you'll forget all about her. Suddenly, all goes black as my mind flashes to my torture given to me by Penter. Something Jeff said triggered a memory of what BP had said. Well, we're not here to make her forget you, are we? We're here to make you forget her. Well, what? Ah, now you're interested. What do you mean, make me forget her? What do you mean, make me forget her? Let's just skip to the fun part, shall we? My vision turns bright and blurry as I snap back to now. My shaking father figure in front of me slowly fades away, like someone blowing up on a pile of dust, watching as it disperses, leaving behind a very fearful YN. Tears streaming down her eyes and dribble down her cheek as the gag causes her mouth to be locked open. What am I doing? Oh man, I can't decide. You know what? I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna decide whether I want to read one more chapter or not. Chapter 41. Tiki Toby's point of view. I shake my head as I regain myself and come to my senses, checking to see if this was all real. It was. YN stood before me, her whipping eyes locked on mine. I could see the fear in her eyes. Her entire body shook and panicked. She was terrified. Fuck, what am I doing? Growling agitatedly to myself, I carefully removed the gag from YN's mouth, causing her to gasp for air, deeply inhaling and exhaling, taking as much oxygen as possible. YN? My voice remained deep and low. My stutter also appeared to still be gone, for the time being. Her eyes opened wide, showing off the beautiful whatever color radiating through. Staring back at me was shocking, confusing. Still, however, on edge. Toby? Hearing her say my name so shyly and full of worry lit a fire in my heart and made me realize what was truly happening. Not just around us, but between us as individuals. I said to her that my love for her was a lie, but that itself is a lie. I do indeed love her. It was an endless love that no torture could change. Why, I'm so sorry. Jack, Maskey, let her go. Jack and Maskey shared glances to each other, then stared back at me. Jack does his usual thing and shrugs, leaving the room, causing YN's left arm to drop to her side. But her right arm remains pinned as Maskey disobeys me. Sorry, Toby, but this bitch stabbed me in my neck with glass. She needs to be punished. Suddenly, Maskey's grip on YN's arm tightened and started to twist. Her cries bellowed out the room until you heard a loud snap. Maskey! Her bone had fractured. Although sadly, this was an open fracture, meaning her bone had been snapped through the skin, ripping her flesh. She screams in agony, and you don't do anything? As she stares at her own bone protruding through her skin, tears streaming down her face. Her free hand clutched Maskey's wrist. Blood gushed from the open wound as she cries in pain. I hated him for doing this to her. I raise my hatchet and yell his name, but before I could strike, Jeff calls out and stops me. Toby, what are you doing? You're supposed to be killing her. As my hatchet remains in the air, Maskey chuckling at his actions and YN screaming in pain, my head crooks to face Jeff, painting in anger as I watch his frustration grow. He rushes towards me, but I feel a slap, a free hand across his face. But I slap a free hand across his face as he stumbles. I lower my hatchet and storm over to him, punching him down. I wanted to continue to punch him, but I needed to help YN, obviously. I rush to Maskey, plunging my hatchet deep into his shoulder. He yells out and soon bellows once I yank the blade out, blood dripping more as he angrily turns to face me. But instead, he chuckles, pulling out a small knife from his pocket. He turns back and stands over YN's figure as she fell to the floor, clutching her arm. I try to stop him as he crouched down to her, but suddenly I'm grabbed from behind. It was Jeff. I try to push him off of me, but his grip wouldn't budge. I painfully watch as Maskey reached out a hand, latching his fingers around YN's protruding bone and giving a yank. She screams her lungs. Blood pours from the wound as it was made even bigger, the bone tearing up her arm as her flesh makes a sickening ripping sound. Stop! Stop hurting her! This is getting very bad, and I don't know if I want to continue reading this. Oh, God, this is just getting worse and worse and worse. So basically, cuts her cheek up. Blah, 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 blah. I'd had enough. Springing out my arms, causing Jeff to stumble back, I swiftly swing around, slicing across his throat with my hatchet, blood spattering everywhere, on the floor and on my person. His bleached eyes stare at me as he gargles, clutching his hand around his throat, blood spitting from his neck and mouth, droplets landing on my face, causing me to growl and slice his throat again. The wound became even bigger, blood gushing down his chest as his body grows limp, falling to the floor. I raised my hatchet one last time, but before I got my chance, he had already fallen on his own stomach, a pool of blood surrounding his head. You bastard. was all I heard from behind me. I turned to see Ryan unconscious on the floor, an angry Masky staring at me through his mask as he snarls. Without time to think, he lunges for me, but I easily dodge, plunging my hatchet deep into his spine. He groans and falls onto the floor. He tries to crawl away, but I simply bend down and push my hands against the hatchet, causing the blade to sink further into his back. His gasp and splutters. He gasps and splutters blood from his mouth, tapping the floor quickly as his hands as a surrender. Taking the hatchet from his spine, he thought he was safe. He was wrong. Without thinking twice, I smashed the hatchet's blades down on Masky's skull, taking a direct hit to the brain, almost through half of his head. His hands stop tapping, and his entire body grows lifeless. His head hanging limp against my grip as I held my hatchet. I was proud of what I had done. I had finally stood up to these assholes, and it felt good. Letting my weapon go, his head slumps to the floor with a thud, blood escaping to join Jeff's pool, creating one big bloodbath. Wasting no time, I hurry over to YN, crouching down beside her, brushing a piece of hair away from her face, tucking it behind her ear. YN, I'm so sorry. Carefully lifting her conscious body in my arms, bridal style, I carry her out of the room and head downstairs. I needed to get her to a hospital. I don't care if I was risking getting caught and arrested. Saving her life was more important. So that's really it, y'all. Whoopsie. That was very intense. I did not expect that. Like, really, I actually didn't expect that. That was fucking crazy. I will definitely need to put a warning about that. I couldn't read some of the parts because they got a little bit too deep into it, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull away from that, because that author's very good with gory things. But I read most of it, so, give me a little bit of credit on that one. Let me know what you guys think will happen next. Will Ryan make it alive? Will Toby go to jail, or will we have to go to mental institution? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, because I have no clue. Because keep in mind, this man is tortured recently, and he's doing this all while he has multiple injuries that a human could not survive. He has that all over his body. He is definitely very severely injured. He himself needs to go to a hospital too. I don't know how he's doing this, but he is doing this. He's doing it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think there's gonna be some major crazy stuff here, and I think they might run away. I hope they do, because that I hope it doesn't get this bad. Because we got about like what, 40, 50, 60, 70. So we got about like, I think we got about like roughly like 40 more chapters left after this 40, I think. Well, technically it's 41, but whatever. Miscalculations are fine. That happens. I am human. But yeah, it's getting a little bit crazy. It's getting a little crazy. Yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. Celio girls got to go. I shall see y'all in a future video. And bye and peace.